listening to Movie Reviews and More with Brian Sebastian, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hey, this is Brian Sebastian with Movie Reviews and More. We are live around the world as usual, and today I've been waiting for this show since last October 2017. It's an honor to have everybody on. We got a lot to talk about, so I'm going to ask everybody to introduce themselves, which is different, but it's fun. So I'm going to start with everybody around. Let's start with my good friend. I call her my southern mom, Edie Hand from Alabama. Edie, tell us about yourself, where you came from.
Well, I am from Birmingham, Alabama. I spent a lot of years in radio and television, owned my own advertising agency for over 35 years, and working now in financial education for seasoned women. And I am a part of helping to find roadmaps to help young women to have better quality of lives and learning their lessons from love.
And Shay Vaughn.
Hi, I'm Shay Vaughn. I've been in health and wellness for longer than I want to think about. But it's been so dear to my heart, and it's definitely served me from the standpoint that as a young dancer and performer, it taught me a lot of discipline. And so that has really served me throughout my life. I actually am the co-founder and the CEO of the Women's Broadcast Television Network. And so if anybody is thinking about having a dream come true and is interested in being on TV, give me a call.
So from Alabama to Chicago to Weekly Chris. Chris?
Hey, what's going on? My name is Chris, or Christian. Canadian kid.
Woohoo.
From Calgary.
Yeah.
Comes from a good family.
I've got a great family. I love music. I got a passion for entertainment. I'm a baby of the internet. I grew up computer programming when I was 7. I grew up on the internet. Started YouTube when I was 12, and it's been a pretty crazy journey. Just growing up with the space and getting to be a part of the media. Yeah.
And that new millennium. Victoria.
Hi.
She's one of my other co-hosts. Go ahead.
Yeah, surprise, it's me again. Victoria Renee Plummer, soon to be Hand. This is my soon to be mother-in-law. I'm engaged to her son.
Link,
Hand. I'm a recording artist. I just released a song called A Better Tomorrow. It's on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, all the things, all the streaming things, and it's the proceeds go to St. Jude Children's Hospital. So please stream, download to your playlist. It's for a really good cause.
And Zoriana.
Hi, I'm Zoriana Kitt, and I work for Sea Shepherd Conservation Society. We have a navy of over a dozen ships around the world. We're out there defending, conserving, and protecting the world's ocean, because if the oceans die, we die, and the government is sure not helping out in that fact, so we have to take matters into our own hands. We're a volunteer-run organization, and we are there to make sure that the species in the oceans do not go extinct, and we will do everything in our power and work with different governments to help make sure that there is a future for the next generation, for those internet babies, as we say, who are growing up on the computer.
You know, and the good thing about this is I wanted to put this show together because it's important to bring those millenniums together with traditional media, women, strong women from the South, women creating new businesses, and social media influencers. And then when we have Victoria, those people going from the South, singing, dancing, music, fashion, everything. So when I think of my southern mom, Edie Hand, I think of Elvis Presley. I think of St. Jude's Hospital. I think of the good things. I think of those strong women's initiative coming from out there. Edie, talk about how important that is with the network that you built in the South.
Well, certainly being a part of Women in Radio and Television for over 40 years, but I was taught by a strong grandmother. My grandmother and Elvis's grandmother were sisters. But what I learned from these Southern women that dipped snuff and told ghost stories at Graceland was really invaluable to me, because the first book they ever gave me that encouraged me to read and to get excited about books was The Velveteen Rabbit. And my grandmother taught me about being real. And she said, Edith, if you'll always be real, life will bring you many wonderful things. And Elvis always thought that was pretty cool too. And for me, she was my silver pearl of wisdoms. I lecture a lot about how to mop with your pearls on, being from the South. We women with pearls in the South used to cook with our pearls on. You wear your pearls to the ball game with your blue jeans on. So these Southern women wore their pearls with their aprons. And but she was my pearl of wisdom that helped me through what, as you well know, Brian, in writing the book of The Last Christmas Ride, which was the dark pearl in my life. But it also taught me a lot about having that wisdom from her to be able to get from grief to goodness, of why I wrote that and did the things we've done with these series of things I've done with the pearls on my journey.
Hand in Hand Foundation, talk about that.
Well, the Edie Hand Foundation, if they want to check it out, ediehandfoundation.org, was put together in the memory of my 3 young brothers. They all died young at 19, 23, and 46.
Wow.
Why? I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but that's so odd.
Well, my first brother died in a car accident at the age of 19. We were roommates in college, had a little house near campus at what was called Florence State University then, near Tennessee. It's University of North Alabama now. And 10 years later, my baby brother Philip was killed in an automobile accident. And then 15 years later, my brother Terry was stricken with an aneurysm in the middle of the brain and cancer, and we care gave for him, my mother, my sister, and I, for 7 years. And we all loved horses, and so one of our traditions used to be to ride our horses at dawn at Christmas and sing carols. And so I wrote the book, which was my brother's wish before he passed away, was to share the story of what it was like for kindness to people. You know, and each one of you here, there's not anything in this room you haven't loved and lost on some degree, in some level.
Absolutely.
So, in answering that, it took all those lessons from love that helped make me a better person and to have a kinder heart to people. And I've tried to take that in the 20 books that I've been privileged to write and co-write with, that people could learn about, Brian, as you know, on ediehan.com, of my lectures around the country, the television shows we've done, the books, the cookbooks. You can't come from the South and not let your arteries be hardened. Buttermilk
I'm
biscuits
coming.
And buttermilk biscuits and chocolate gravy. Come on, baby. But anyway,
Chocolate gravy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
she
ever
made me some. Oh my goodness.
Chocolate gravy?
This is gonna change your world. I'm not kidding.
This
some
coming
chocolate
from the
gravy.
woman, your future
Yeah.
sister-in-law, daughter-in-law, who's not wearing pearls but is wearing studs.
Listen, I go through phases. I'll be wearing pearls tomorrow and then diamonds the
girls
next
can
day.
be
I don't know.
versatile.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love
But
it.
it's very important, I think, if you learn how to cook in the South, that we were taught that women should know how to cook the basics of things. And it was just that they cooked with a lot of lard. They cooked with a lot of butter. If you cook with Southern Living magazine, but there is a healthier version,
Yeah.
and I learned that.
But I love that you talked about kindness, and I love that you're mentioning the horses and the Velveteen Rabbit, because as a organization that deals a lot with animal rights, because there are animals in the ocean, you know, the way we treat the voiceless and those who don't have a representative is very important and is indicative of how we treat others around us. And it feels to me that your attitude towards animals is full of love and kindness, and you seem very maternal. And it's so important that we begin with, you know, that first pet that you have, that first animal that you have, that you learn to treat a helpless creature with kindness and know that you are representing them and you are advocating for them, whether it's pets or kids, and that grows to your attitude about oceans and the environment, and it grows from there, and it really marks a person's character of how we treat those who can't help themselves.
That's
Yes.
so true.
It is
Yeah.
true.
I mean, her son takes our dog to the park for like 3 hours and when I say every
Yeah,
day,
spoiled dog.
I mean every single day. It's just when you fall in love with an animal, it's your whole view of animals changes, and you're just like, oh, you're a human. I love you.
Edie there's a great photo on Facebook of the dog. What's the dog's name again?
Lex.
Of Lex,
Yeah.
yes, I love that dog. Lex looking at Edie, and I'm like, did Edie give in to Lex's blue eyes?
Of course I did.
Oh, good for you. Good. That's what it's supposed to happen.
He wanted a bacon bite, so he got it.
And he'll just sort of just
Gotcha.
Yeah.
so sad. He'll give you a paw like, do you like it when I sit, right? Like,
Yeah. when I'm flying back to Alabama tomorrow, I know that he's going to be sad for a little bit because it's so. I mean, he really thinks I'm his nana. I'm like, I think that Lex
He
gets
does.
it. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, what kind of dog is it?
Siberian Husky.
he's a
He's
yeah.
gorgeous. He's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
He's redheaded. He's a
gorgeous.
red Siberian Husky.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, animals of any kind just become part of our family. That's why you
They
see so many
do.
pictures, especially at the holidays. And, you know, the dogs or cats or whatever are all in those pictures, too. So
Well, we're so quick to humanize them too. I mean, look at the dog industry and all
Yeah.
the clothes and tutus and
Oh,
outfits
yeah,
that we have.
absolutely.
My dog's
Yeah.
spoiled. He's like crazy spoiled.
Chris, what kind of dog you got?
He's a Pomeranian Husky.
Oh,
mix.
really?
Oh, no
He's got-
way.
He's
Yeah,
got
one of
the
those.
Husky, like like always has to be doing something like a Husky, but the jitteriness of like the Pomeranian. So
Like,
Oh.
Huskies are
wild,
already
like,
jittery.
Yeah, he's like crazy.
Is he
energy.
nuts?
He's insane.
Oh,
He can't.
man.
He can't even be in a kennel. Like he'll escape. We had.
The Huskies are known as being escape
Yeah, he's a
artists.
Well,
smart
they're
dog.
work
Yeah.
dogs. They
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
to do and serve and be and like.
They
be
need a
busy.
Yeah,
job.
always has
But
to be
when
doing
you
something.
love, it's no different from people, I feel, and with
No, not at
animals,
all.
is
Yeah, I
that
love that.
those
Look.
acts of kindness to them, they know who love them. And the energy is so there.
So
But same way with
unconditional.
people know
Yeah.
that you would know if you wanted to be with that person or
Yeah.
get to know them more or do
Right.
that. You know?
Yeah.
You remember that, Brian, when
Absolutely.
we first met?
Well, I was
of
telling Shay
things?
about that. You know
We
how
were
we
talking
how we
about it,
got
yeah.
there, and Link. This is funny because I'll always remember Link no matter what happens. He's curled up like this on a yacht, but as Edie would say, it was a boat. 'Cause it was a boat.
It was a
Well,
It was
I've
a
been
boat.
on a yacht. That's a boat.
It was a boat. but I was telling Shay and everybody, the best thing about that was coming and meeting Edie because she said this, which is what led to the Last Ride film, which was an excellent film.
My documentary.
Was
Yeah.
she's sitting there and we talked about Hollywood Film Festival, and I'm on the boat and I'm like, I don't want to be here, but I had the two girls come with me, Brett and Jennifer Henry, and the best thing that I ever did was listen to the advice, listen to my intuition, intuitive knowing, which is women's intuition, same thing. And I said, I gotta go. I don't know why I gotta go, but you and Link were there. Link that's curled up like this because he's freezing. I didn't know who he was, and Edie has just got this great southern smile. And I was like, wow, how do you resist this? She goes, I got a film for you. I go, yeah, everybody says that. I go, is it any good? I said it, I have to say it 5 times. Is it any good? Because everybody thinks their film or a CD, right, Chris, is good.
yeah.
you know?
Everybody thinks, yeah.
So, but it was
That's
the
got a
last
story.
ride
Great
on
critic.
the story of your family story, and it was an honor to have that because from that, Victoria got to sing. From all that stuff 2 years ago, I've watched this whole thing blossom. And from us taking photos, I'm like, watch and see what happens the next 30, 60, 90 days from here because of all the stuff that has happened.
Well, interdependency, working together with anything. If you put a group of people like us together, if there's something good that can come out of it and it needs a chance to live, it'll find a way to live. And that I truly believe in my life's experience, being this seasoned at this time in my life. And I don't
And a
take
cancer
any,
survivor.
4 times.
Wow.
Yes, I don't take anything for granted. I started 25 years ago, losing a kidney. I've had breast, uterine.
And you're still
bladder.
gorgeous.
Well, thank you.
I think
Yes.
those pearls are your good luck charm.
Thank you.
I said.
I always said Edie's a
They are.
vampire. I'm
Put- keep those
positive.
pearls on.
I'm positive. She's
But-
immortal.
But
I
you
know.
I believe that we are put with people for a reason and the things to do. And I was honored to speak and be a part of a Women of Distinction at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital a couple of months ago, and I had Victoria fly in to meet me there in Memphis, her first time in that part of the South. And to be at St. Jude, was it not?
It was amazing.
And to be able and to sing her song of A Better Tomorrow that she co-wrote and that's in our documentary. And it is what we just talked about. It's about people can come to us, and as young as you are, you'll get this as you get older, is that people can say they are who they are, but they can have wings on them, but they can be evil. And there's so much to the culture of what the song is about, that there are better tomorrows, and to have faith for that. And so the song was so appropriate to be sung, and it was a blessing that we had someone there that was very top level from FedEx that loved it so much that she and Link are going to get to come play in a golf tournament and her to sing. And you never know what relationships bring, because that is the headquarters for FedEx in Memphis, and they're big supporters of St. Jude. They've raised millions and millions. You know, it takes $1 million a day to keep that place up. There is no expense to anyone. No child goes away untreated. And being a survivor, that is part of who I am, and losing so much of my family. Most of my family died young.
Yeah.
And when you do that, it changes you. I can tell you, it changes who you allow in your life. And I don't know how long I'll be here. I know the big C wants me, but I'm fighting it. And I can tell you that there are good things that can come from bad things. My grandmother Alice used to say, you can do hard things, and you can turn them into beautiful situations if you'll do this. If on your ride in life you fall into the mud holes, if you'll get up and shake it off and wash it off, it'll be okay. And she said, then there'll be some curves on that road that when you get on that curve, you might not think you're going to make it around it, but you can. And she said, when I'm not here to help you go on the next ride, remember I am with you in the spirit, and there's always another ride. So I believe that.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
That's beautiful.
Amen.
And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have Shay here and Chris here, because I wanted everybody to meet each other, and including Zoriana, where she comes from and what she's done. And Victoria, I mean, it's great to have everybody here because we're all connected in a certain way, and I've seen this for a long time. And Chris, it goes to, I love the Collins family. It's really, really important. I talk about you guys all the time. You're the world's best social media family. I don't care what anybody says. It's true. You've got a great mom. You've got a great dad. Your brothers and sisters are phenomenal. And I want the best for you guys. And that's one reason why I wanted Shay here. I wanted you all to meet each other because this is where it starts, kicking off the Women's Broadcast TV Network. And I wanted you to know Edie, because Edie's going to be on the show. You're going to be on that show. All of us. That's important to me.
But wait, I have a question for Chris, because I just found out that you and most of your siblings are just a year or two apart.
Yeah.
So does that mean you makes you guys closer, or are you guys more apt to get at each other's throats because you're too close?
Little of both, right?
I'm blessed. I love my family because we grew up homeschooling, so those were the other classmates are our best friends. Is just us. So we grew up together. Now it's a blessing that we're all in LA. Everyone does different forms of entertainment, so we all get to work together and travel together and tour together, which is awesome. They inspire me. Like, everyone has different talents, and then when they go out and do something, it inspires me to go step my game up somewhere else, and then we get to play off each other and create together. So it's awesome.
They truly do love each other. And
how
like
many
I said,
siblings?
It's good to see
I
that.
have one brother and then 2 sisters. Yeah, they're all amazing.
Well, I was the oldest of 5. I understand you people think, I said, well, in the South, we weren't Catholic, but my grandmother had 12 children. They believed in having babies to work the farm.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pearls.
That's a lot of pearls. That's a lot of pearls. That's a lot. And they had this farm, of 1,000 acres there where that you could.
That's a big farm.
That's a big farm. And back then, I'd say, I didn't realize it was like a territory.
Yeah, that's humongous.
I mean,
That's crazy.
my brothers and I grew up on 40 acres, which we thought was a lot. We
Yeah.
each had horses. And my horse was named Trigger, so you might not
Yeah.
remember Roy Rogers
Oh,
and Dale
yeah, I was
Evans.
just going to say that.
And
yeah.
then my other brother David loved the horse Tonto because he loved the Long Ranger, And then my other brother named his horse Polly because he was in love with our Avon lady. And so in the South, they would come to your house and hang out with you, and that sort of thing. But that was a kind of simpler way of life with my siblings, that we couldn't wait to get home after school to ride those horses to the Indian mounds and lie there and tell our dreams. And I'll share this with you, that from my brother David, and you said you learned the things and you love your family, I learned the most about laughter, how important and healthy it is to laugh.
Yeah, so true. I do. Laughter is just something that you need to really think about if you're not doing it, because laughter actually changes, your whole body. It actually makes you healthier. you feel better when you do that.
Well,
And
your son's been responsible in providing us with that healthy
Laughing.
laughter with
Right.
the movies that he's done. I mean, he's been a
very funny.
He's been good for our health, I
He's
think.
been- yeah,
right?
he's
my
been good for
doctor.
all of our health. Yeah.
Okay, so in
Good
case
boy.
some of the audience doesn't know, who's your son, Shay?
Let me think.
Damn.
You know, I really have to say this though. I have 3 children, and
That's right.
you know, they're just the heartbeat of my life. And Victoria, Valerie, and Vincent Vaughn. So you know, they're all in the entertainment area, but he's in the front. You know, you get to see him in movies. And the girls are producers and writers, and
Yeah.
they're just
And I
like
love
family.
your daughter-in-law, Kayla.
Oh, Kayla,
I did
yeah.
award season with her all last year, and she is the loveliest. I felt like I had a little partner in crime when you go
Yeah.
to these things and you see the same people over and over again. We're so like-minded. I connected with her, and at the Golden Globes or at one party, I saw Vince without her, and I was like,
Where's
Kyla? Yeah, where's Kyla? Like, you
have another child, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
super
You
quick.
know, I have to
Yeah,
really
grab my
tell
phone
you,
so
I'm
you can
so
just,
lucky
make
because
this, yes,
I couldn't have gone out and handpicked 2 of my kids, picked the right, partners, and then Carla, Vince picked her, and
Yeah.
she actually was. You were talking about farm. She was raised on a farm,
In
just
Canada.
down to earth in Canada,
Yes.
and I was born in Canada, Brantford, Ontario.
All right, so we got 3 candidates
So-
in here.
Yeah.
Again,
Canadian.
Ottawa.
I grew up on a farm
Now that's
too.
a long
Canadians
way
rock.
from the South.
Yeah, there's nothing southern
No,
about
nothing
us
southern.
Northerners.
No.
And you know what's really great, because you were talking about family, and it just, hit me. I'm so blessed because each one of the kids have 2 children, and my daughter and my son live just like about 3 blocks away from each other. The other one lives in about a half hour away, and the kids would rather get together with their cousins than anything
Yeah.
else. And it is
That's
so
special.
great. It is special, and it's so great to see them take care of each other, want to do things together. We're a big game player, We love to play cards together. We play charades together. We just, you name it, we're going to sit down and do it. And the kids all know how to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's an amazing thing. But, it takes work, right?
Yes,
You
it
have to work
does.
on it. That takes a lot of love and patience, and it's all worth it, which is the most
It
important
really
thing.
is. Like in my situation, I didn't get to grow old with those boys, but I have all these beautiful memories,
course.
and we built them. Like I said, from Dave, it was laughter. From Terry, I learned a lot about courage, because you can't go through what he went through for 7 years and not see him fight to live and to lose every motor skill he had
Right.
at the end. And he died in my arms, but I felt good about it because he was going to a better place, and he had suffered long enough, and he was
Exactly.
ready. And and there's a big difference. You learn that.
You do.
And as a mother,
as a
I felt like
mother-
another mother. I felt like I wasn't just his sister. I was his mother. Sometimes when siblings are so close, mothers, like your mother's here today, and was privileged to meet her.
Yeah, she's
is
awesome.
that here's the thing: is that when someone like in the Velveteen Rat loves you long enough, everything can become real.
It is
You
real,
know?
for sure.
So it was with them, and I learned a lot about seizing moments in life. Just like coming today. Maybe you were tired or thinking, oh, God, am I going somewhere else again? I got to do this, I got to do that. And we all have those feelings.
Feelings, of course.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you get there and you think, wow, I was supposed to be there. I was supposed to meet that person. I had something. Well, that's what I learned from Philip, was the seizing of the moments. And he lost his life at 23. And I say this to say that what a great thing that I've been given so many beautiful friends around the country. And speaking of Chicago, it's my second love. I love New York. I love Chicago. My aunt and my mom, we always, I said, we had a second home in Muncie, Indiana.
Oh, I know that's it.
And I said, I learned how to bowl. Most of my friends got to go to the beach.
Exactly.
But that's what you played.
Yeah.
You go
Muncie,
bowling.
Indiana. I haven't heard that name for so long, and we had relatives were there, and I went down 4 summers in a row and spent my time there.
It's
Is
such
that
a
crazy?
it's such a
I love
nice
Muncie.
area.
Oh, it's
I
beautiful.
used to take a train from Hammond, Indiana in the summers and work at Lakeshore National Bank downtown.
Oh my goodness.
And there I was, 19 years old, and my line was so long. I'll tell you this real quick, that I thought I was going to get fired. And this lady came to me at the end of it. She said, "We'd like to talk to you in the office."
Yeah.
In the South, I'd say, "Well, this is over," But she said, "They love your accent." She said, "We can't get them to move over to the other lines. Would you be less kind?" And I thought, but I got a raise instead of getting fired.
That's good.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Going
what I
into
do.
that.
what
Shay,
I
talk
do.
about being a best-selling author. Is it Breakthrough?
The Breakthrough.
And Shaynetics.
Genetics. Well, I'll talk about the book. The book is called The Breakthrough, and it really helps you to, feel great about yourself. And we all want to do that. And it helps you to defeat stress, because stress is something we don't need in our lives. And so many times we cause it when it's really not necessary. And then really find well-being. And so it really covers a lot of things. It's about some of the things that you talked about being in the moment, for instance, and how important that truly is. I mean, I can tell you many stories. I won't take up the time to do that. But we miss so much. I mean, if you've ever had a time in your life where you thought something was a certain way because you really weren't listening, and all of a sudden you could be, at a party and you're hearing two people, talk. And all of a sudden, they're talking about what you, thought was a certain way. And all of a sudden, you find out, no, it wasn't. It really wasn't that way. And it can actually change your life, because you carry around these thoughts with us that just, don't serve us. And so it's about forgiveness, too, and relationships in your life. And I think one of the most important things that it talks about is my daughter. I got to tell you this story, because this one is okay. So we were talking about dogs, and I'm making a confession, so I'll tell you that ahead of time.
And we are all dog lovers.
And we're all dog lovers, and I do love dogs. But we had a number of Malteses, and one of them was called Vero, and this dog just Vero. Because what's funny? Because I have Victoria, Valerie, and Vince, and when I was engaged to my husband. His name was Vernon Vaughn, and I thought, if I ever have a daughter, I'm going to name her Victoria, and I did. And so it just kind of kept going, but it went on with the dogs too. I have to tell you, it really got out of control. Yeah. We had Vero, we had Vanadis, we had Viking. I mean, I can't tell you. It really did go. It really did.
Funny.
But anyway, the dog Vero just didn't have the nice personalities that the other dogs did. Bit the next door neighbor, bit us. I mean, it was crazy. And I used to walk around and say to the kids all the time, "I'm going to get rid of this dog." And they say, "Oh, Mom, you would never do that. You would never do that." And one day, seriously, I gave the dog away.
Oh, snap.
I couldn't. I was like, I don't know what I was thinking. You ever have that time? That's my next book. What was I thinking? So
Good title.
Good title. So anyway, I did it, and I went on, that day, just kind of doing the things that I need to do. And the kids came home from school. I hadn't thought about this, and they said, "Where's the dog?" And I thought for a moment, and I said, "Oh, because he used to run out the door and run away, and we'd go hunt for him, and everything." And I said, I opened up the door, and he ran away, and I could just feel that pit in the bottom of my gut, because I'd never lied to them before. And so they said, "Well, let's go out and look. Call the police." I'm on the phone calling the police where I know the dog's at. Yeah. And so, long story short, throughout the years, my kids used to say to me, "Mom, tell us the truth. What happened to Vero?" And I was so afraid. I got to the point, serious, I was so afraid to tell them the truth, because I didn't want them not to love me. And it was hard. It was really hard.
So are you telling them now? Is tonight?
No,
this
no.
the thing you feel right now? After all these years?
I confessed long ago, but this is really more important.
There's a story.
There's a story, and what's more important about it is that sometimes your kids teach you things that, we should be teaching them. And so my daughter Valerie, years later, came to visit me, and we were down in the kitchen. She said, "Hey, Mom, you know what?" She says, can we go and talk for just a little bit? I go, okay, sure. We go in the bedroom, and we sit on the bed, and she said, you know, I want to apologize to you. And I said, apologize to me for what? And she says, I haven't made this easy for you. I didn't give you a safe space to be able to tell the truth.
That's deep.
That is.
I want to tell you, that girl was smart. I was the one that didn't know
She
what
was very
she was doing.
insightful.
Very insightful. And so I told her the truth. We sat there, we cried, we hugged, we loved, and she gave me the greatest gift of all. She gave me the opportunity to lay down those heavy bricks that I'd been carrying for so long. And she provided the safe space. So the lesson that I learned from that is that so many times we say something to someone that maybe we should go and say we're sorry, but sometimes we back off on that because we're afraid we're going to get yelled at. And so the fear keeps us from doing certain things in life. And so it's not just about not telling the truth, it's bigger than that. I just, you know, the book talks about having a safe space to allow people to come to you to be able to say they're sorry to you and think about that.
That's so great, because I think that's what we all need.
Yeah,
we all need a
that.
safe place that you can feel that you can. Forgiveness is a big thing.
Oh, it's so important. It talks about that too. And, you know, forgiveness isn't so much about condoning what somebody's done. Like, I can't condone what I did, but my kids forgave me out of love.
Right.
And so that allows all of us to be able to move forward. And we laugh about it now, you know, which is good. That's a good thing.
It's kind of a cute lie. It's not the worst thing that could have happened, but it's
your
a
father
really
didn't
listen,
really
at
walk
very
out
young
the
age,
door.
I'd love to know what has been your lesson.
No, you don't have to call the police.
Before we go
for
there,
that.
here's what I got to tell you. I was doing a talk on my book at Cancer Treatments of America. And I told the story, and then I was signing books afterwards, and these two girls came up behind me, and she says, I've got to tell you something. She said, my mom did the same thing. She said the difference was that the picture came out the next day looking for the, that
For the
somebody,
dog?
No, they had found the dog.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she had just let it loose, but somebody had found it. And she said, is that the craziest things? And I said, well, you know, maybe that would have shortened my time between all of it.
I have a couple of pets. I don't know what happened to them.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I had this
Discovery girl is about
when
to
I was a
happen.
little kid, my vocal coach, she lived in not the greatest part of town initially, and there's this cat there. And it was a kitten, and I was like, oh my God, it's a kitten, look at the kitten. She's like, this is terrible. Okay, yeah. So I got the kitten, and it was pregnant, and it was a kitten. And the kitten had kitties.
Kitties,
little
of
baby
course.
kitties. Yeah, and then the kitten got pregnant again.
And then you have.
So we had a little cat baby on our hands. This cat is just like a little out of control, and I'm like, what do we do with all of these kittens? And I don't know what happened to all of the kittens.
Right.
But I did ask last Christmas. I was like, guys, where did those kittens go? And they're like, I'm not gonna tell you. But eventually they told my brother. He put them. He gave them to one of the neighbors and like rang the doorbell and like waited to see if they went inside. And I was like, that's terrible. Why would you do that?
You know,
At least they didn't do anything worse than that.
but I think everybody's
Places
got
them
an
in a
animal
Moses
story.
basket and send
Yeah.
them down
Yeah,
the river.
down the
That's
Nile.
right. That's
Like,
right.
That's funny.
why would you do this?
Yeah.
What would you say is what is a lesson you've learned at your young age in life?
Lessons I've learned. I just sitting here listening. I'm learning, but I think, those are big ones. I think just even one I'm learning right now is being in the moment, especially in a world of everything's instant and like everything's instant.
Yeah. On demand.
On demand.
On demand now.
Yeah.
Learning to be. Like in a world where you're bombarded by not only thoughts, like you have 60,000 thoughts a day, but bombarded by
60,000 people telling you
Yeah.
thoughts.
people talking
Sharing their
thoughts.
thoughts.
And so I think a rarity now, especially, with a lot of my peers and me, is like a rarity is being able to even spend time with you, like being able to sit with yourself, because even
Yeah.
the times
I
you
love
are
that
with
one.
yourself, you're even, you know, you're getting so many opinions and so many different thoughts that are constantly just being sent at you, so not spending enough time just being able to
be.
So
Yeah,
wait a minute, I
to
got to
be.
interrupt you on there. So
Yeah.
you actually put your electronics away and actually take the time to really, because you know you've got to be bored to be creative.
I got a boat.
You've got to have. I mean,
Yeah.
you really do to have your.
I've been
A
working
boat or
on
a
that a
yacht?
lot this year too.
Yeah, we
yeah.
all. I mean, it's so
My,
true.
I don't know if you guys ever read The Artist's Way, the
Yes,
book.
of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
You have,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I've been really, really, really focusing on that, like what you were just talking about, because I don't even know what's going on. I'm so busy doing things that I don't even know why I'm doing them anymore. And I have to, like, even with music, like
Yeah.
sometimes you're like, why do I get back to why you love this?
But
Yeah.
where do
You
your
know?
best
Yeah.
ideas come from?
In silence, spending time alone and journaling, and
It's
then
so
when you
true.
start writing, and it just comes out of you, and you're like, wow, that took a left turn. Like I didn't even know that was lingering inside of me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you gotta get it out.
Well,
No,
Chris, how do
true.
you write?
Yeah, it's different every time. Just speaking on that, even I was talking with Anthony the other day about it, but because I grew up just creating content on 10 different platforms every day, like 20, 10, 15 times I'm creating content a day on every single platform. So my life was always public, and consistently I was just creating content. So my life started to become like became like looking for content pieces, and not only that, then you're hit with like I didn't even have my own schedule. Like I would wake up, and it was like and I'm thankful
world
for this.
took over.
Yeah, the
I
world-
wake up and it's like, okay, you're going here this time, there, and then just constantly in a reactive mode, like constantly reactive because there's so much stuff coming
Right.
up. So I had to cancel everything, like stop creating, like cut out everything, like stopped creating on all my platforms, took a break for like 6 months, just spent some time with myself and really figured out, because I got to a place where I was like, financially I didn't really have to worry about anything, or
Right.
I had
You're good.
everything I could need.
Yep.
And then I was bored, and I was like,
You're not going to be bored around me.
Too
Well,
young to be bored.
I got super bored because I was just
'Cause you were
consistently
creative all the
creating-
time.
Well, I was creating content, but it wasn't what I wanted to create, because I became in a reactive mode, just like pushing it all the time, just creating
Right.
content. So I took a break to really think, like, what do I really want to do? Because like when I was posting videos, they're getting 60 million, 100 million views per video, so they were
Yep.
just like putting them up and just constantly reactive. And then
What's your biggest platform, first of all, so the audience knows?
Facebook, I think.
How many?
I think 6 or 7 million. 6
Okay.
million on Facebook.
That's
All
a
right.
lot of pressure, though.
That's
It
a
is.
lot.
That's
All
a
right,
lot
but,
of
but hold
pressure.
on. That's just Facebook. On Instagram?
I think we're like 3.6 on Instagram or something like that. 3.6
Okay.
million.
And you Snapchat?
You can't tell on Snapchat, you just tell on opens.
Yeah.
But like I took a break from everything because I was consistently creating. And on that said, you have to have a reason why really sit down and figure out what's your why, because I figured out how to create. I had a perfect formula to create content across every different platform, even in
Right.
the music space.
Yep.
And but I wasn't saying or creating what I really wanted to create, and there wasn't really a true reason other than it wasn't.
And why
didn't
you were
really need
bored or
exposure.
working on creating, so being nominated for iHeart Radio.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
happened.
that's today.
That's today.
Did you know about that?
Yeah,
That
my
happened
mom,
today?
My mom hit me up and told me about that.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
that's a big
congratulations.
deal.
It is.
That's a big
Thank you.
deal.
Okay.
But-
So, Social Star Award on iHeart Radio.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
No
I think that's
way.
what it is. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, so I'm.
What's
I'm
that
very
What's that
thankful
feel
for-
like?
I'm thankful. I'm really thankful that I'm part of that. It's awesome. I think like.
First of all, you deserve it, and so does your family. Again, because I'm supporting the Meet the Collins family. You guys are always happy around each other. You guys support each other, and you don't see that in this business.
Yeah, it's, in all honesty, it's like it's a crazy blessing to have my family, because coming out to LA where there's like everyone's in kind of like this survival mode where it's like, what's the next big opportunity? Or like this is what I would always say is like, if you don't set like an exact target, like a path, a reason why, like a purpose, and you think your purpose is like, or you set that target is like, I want to be successful, I want to be famous, or I want to have money, then you're going to go through every single route you can to get there. And oftentimes when you get there, you realize, hey, that's worthless. Now,
that made me happy for 3 minutes.
And now I'm so far off of where I really want to be.
That long, huh?
Yeah.
I'm so far off of where I really want to be. Now I got to go all the way back. And so for me, it's like really figuring out what, and that's been this year and last year. We cut everything off, and I'm restructuring everything. Music.
I think that's good, though.
That's amazing.
Because one of the things I talked to you and your brother Crawford, who I love the Collins family, so I will never, ever not say that because it's true and it's from my heart, is sitting and talking to you, your brother, we were talking about movies.
Yeah.
Movies. You love movies. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. My brother's doing the acting now and stuff like that, but it's been a surreal experience, kind of like going from like growing up in the middle of nowhere in Canada to, just got thrown into a world where you can't really tell what reality is anymore.
That's a very good statement.
We got...
You're talking about moving to LA?
Well, not just moving to LA, but just like...
Because that definitely happens in LA.
Yeah.
Our reality is not necessarily normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Victoria ended up in the ghetto of North Hollywood.
Oh, God. Listen, I didn't know there were different parts of North Hollywood. I didn't do my research enough before
But
I
you know
moved.
what? She's right. I saw it like a week ago. I was laughing.
It's a real thing. You laugh, but there is a ghetto
I'm
of
not
North
laughing
Hollywood.
now. I saw it. I saw it.
No, it's funny. It was really scary. I'm from Indianapolis. There's not really much ghetto there.
Hey, thinking of a favorite movie, let's go to Victoria first, because favorite
God,
movie, you got you into singing.
Oh, okay. Well, a couple. The Little Mermaid.
Yep.
Love. One of my all-time favorites.
Uh-huh.
Of course.
That is a
musically.
great, that's
Yeah,
a great story
she-
of her story behind it, but I don't know that she wants to share it, but it's a great story.
Oh,
Of course she's going to tell it.
okay. I didn't have to mentally prepare. Okay, so yeah, I was actually a mute growing up. I had selective mutism. My sister passed away, and I was with her when it happened. I was the only one that was with her, and then it was a really terrible time in my life, and I just shut down, just completely. And I would just sit up in my room, and I would just watch Disney movies a lot, and just rewind them and play them again, and rewind them and play them again. And I would go outside and just swing by I was alone all the time, and it's not even that I wouldn't talk, I wouldn't communicate also. So just teachers knew not to call on me, and then one day I just started belting out the Little Mermaid song, and my mom and dad walked downstairs, and they were like, what is happening? Like, because I was singing full voice, and they were just like, okay, she sings. I don't know, what do we do?
And tell them how old you were.
I was 6 and a half. Yeah, I was almost 7. And so I entered this contest. They were like, that's not a great idea. Like, you just started talking. You want to be on stage? And I was like, yeah. And so I did, and I won. And then I went to nationals, and I won. And then I got my show in Vegas, and then I got my first deal. And that's the whole thing, was just music is amazing because it really heals you, not just emotionally. It actually physically changes the cells in your body. It changes the shape and the color of your cells, which is crazy. And it's like, you got a rogue cell, it actually brings it back into harmony, literally into harmony. So it's just, I've made that my life mission to create music that speaks to me, and to hopefully affect other people with music and lyrics the way that it affected me and the way that it helped me, which is why I wanted St. Jude to be a part of my first release.
Good.
Better Tomorrow.
Oh, it's amazing
Nice.
story.
And
Yeah.
Chris?
It's so true, though. I mean, I think that music is really international language. you know, to everyone. And some songs, you know, just really grab you in the heart, and you just, you know, you're really affected by it emotionally and good.
Shay, you have a song?
Do I have a song?
Yeah, a song that hits to you? Mine is, believe it or not, it's my third favorite song of all time, is St. Jude's.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You know, the family really kind of likes, you know, like Western kind of music and stuff I like all of it. I mean, when I teach spin classes and, you know, Shaynetics and stuff like that, it's really the music that that really helps me to get focused so that I can, you know, really perform and help the people that I feel gifted by having them show up into a class and putting their faith in my teaching. And so I love all music, I really do.
How about a movie that when you were growing up as a little girl or whatever that you liked?
There's so many. I mean, my goodness.
3 off the top of your head.
I don't know about 3 out of there. I'll tell you, let's see. I wasn't young, but Swingers was really good.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'll just leave it there.
Okay. Hey, Chris, you have a movie that you like?
Movie that I like a lot of movies. I'm very selective with the movies I watch and media, because like what she was talking about, where especially with music is able to really change yourselves because the frequencies. I'm very careful of kind of like what I watch and what I put in my mind.
Right.
Yeah, I have there's a lot of good movies that inspire me. I like documentaries. I watch a lot of documentaries.
I do.
I'm a huge documentary fan. I like Limitless, the movie, but just because of like
that was fun.
That was good.
how it was filmed, and but yeah, I respect the art, and I'm always watching and seeing, inspired by people's creativity, but then also like very very selective of what I watch and listen to.
Edie?
Well, mine is a classic. I love The Sound of Music.
Oh.
I always,
think everybody does. That's beautiful choice.
It is a, it makes me think of family, and I coming from a large family, and music in my history of my family. My mother's brothers were all great songwriters and musicians, and we used to make music on the front porch on our 4th of July gatherings.
Oh my goodness.
And we would sit on quilts and chairs out while Elvis came to, when he could, on the 4th of July's, and they would pick music. And my grandfather was a banjo player, and it was just something that was instilled in me. So I love the sound of music, and I certainly liked of Elvis's movies. You know, I loved his song "The Wonder of You," and because of being able to be who you are, you know, and we all have that unique quality, and we all have special gifts, I think. So there you go.
Zoriana, Sea Shepherd, what's happening?
We were talking about how we humanize animals and give them these human qualities, and currently we have a campaign in Mexico to save the world's most endangered marine mammal and the world's smallest marine mammal, and that is the vaquita porpoise. So it's literally like a little dolphin, but it's this big.
It's my favorite animal.
So it's called the vaquita. It's such a pretty name. Someday I'll have a dog and I'll name her vaquita.
I love that.
My dad used to
called the
let me
vaquita.
tell you this.
But so this is our 4th year protecting it in the Sea of Cortez, and this year is the do or die year. There are less than 30 left. And when they are gone, the species is extinct. It is only endemic to the Gulf of California. They are not found anywhere but there. And when we did our campaign our previous campaign, when they announced that there were less than 30 left, we found 5 dead ones.
No.
And they reproduce once every 2 years. So it is critical. We have 2 ships right now patrolling the Vaquita Refuge. We have a 3rd one on the way. And we work with the Mexican government to make sure that the poachers are not in there laying down the illegal nets to catch other fish, because the vaquita gets caught in those nets,
Right.
they struggle, they suffocate and die. So for those of you who want to support us in our efforts, this is the most important time for this tiny little porpoise. You can go to seashepherd.org and donate. You're all drinking out of Sea Shepherd vessels today. And to let you know a little bit about that logo, it's on
And
first
why
glance,
we use these instead of plastic.
Yes. Well, on first glance, you look at it and you're like, it's a pirate logo. And yes, there is an aspect of us being pirates. We go in and we do the right thing and we help those who don't have a voice. But if you really look closely at that logo, you will see that it's a shepherd staff, because we are Sea Shepherd, and it's Neptune staff, because we are Neptune's Navy. And on the skull, you see the yin-yang of a dolphin and whale, and that represents the circle of life that's in the world's ocean. And the skull is what will happen if we don't do anything. We are a direct action organization. We're not a protest organization. We don't demonstrate and do petitions. If you donate to us, that money goes directly to a campaign, to the fuel, to equipment. Everything that we do is concrete and tangible, and it's all volunteer run.
And you had a couple ships go to Puerto Rico.
Yes, we with the hurricanes, we decided to do something a little bit different, and we engaged in a campaign where we were bringing dog, cat, pet food, in addition to human relief aid, to the islands that were devastated by the hurricanes. And we're going
really
back
is.
again to do that with Puerto
I
Rico.
have a question quick.
Yeah.
What do you think? So, given that we're obviously losing a huge amount of species every year, and like both animal species, but also plants every year. With seed, we used to have over 200,000 variations of potatoes, which are gone. But do you think, in relief, for example, you're saying these guys, you said there's 30, and then 5 of them died, or 5 died, so 25 left. So do you think, and then you mentioned poaching, do you think there's a larger problem? Is it poaching that's a larger contributor, or is it pollution, or just a mix of everything?
In this particular case, and in the case of a lot of the animals, it's overfishing.
Yeah.
It's overfishing, whether we are overly consuming fish and driving them to extinction, or the poaching that goes on because certain countries think that the bladders or fins from certain species are going to give you unsubstantiated medicinal problem, like like shark fin soup. It's gonna cure your cancer.
So it's miseducation.
Yes, it's miseducation, and thinking that a lot of the Asian countries with the rhino horns and the elephant tusks and shark fins and the totoaba bladder, sun bear bile, they use it because they think it's going to make them more fertile, make them more powerful. It's a very sort of magical, but none of that is scientifically proven, and that's driving species to extinction. If we all just sort of backed off the ocean will repair itself.
Yes.
That's the thing. The solution is quite simple. Just leave it alone. It will reproduce.
Yeah.
It does have the power to do that. And we don't need to go in there and fix it. We just need to back off.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, our greed just prevents us from doing that.
Is there a way to, considering, there's so it's either a huge effort on re-educating people, or for a lot of people, that might be their, is a horrible act that they're committing, but it might be their livelihood. Is there a way to provide them by not poaching, but doing something else to still be able to?
That's a very good question.
Feed their family,
because especially in some of the poorer countries that depend on fish for sustenance, and that is their job, you have to re-educate them that. For example, in Indonesia, there was a group that were re-educated because they were killing stingrays because, for, again, selling it to China. they were re-educated in saying, listen, if you become advocates for them, you can create a tourism industry in your town where people will come in and you can take them.
Make more money. So,
yes,
definitely.
take them snorkeling, to show them your creatures, tell them about their beauty and their magnificence, and people will appreciate them, and they'll come back again and again to your town to get that opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think
the
it is
website.
education. I mean, it just really is getting the, because I wouldn't even known half of this.
No.
Exactly, exactly. Sharks are being decimated for their fins.
Yeah.
And shark fin soup is tasteless. In fact, it goes in chicken broth. So
is that right?
it's completely tasteless. But sharks are our apex predators. They keep the oceans healthy
Regulated,
because as apex predators, they prey on the weak. So the ocean is healthy and strong, and every creature is strong because the sharks take the ones that don't. And by decimating them, we lose that. And then other invasive species start coming in if we lose those, and there's no one there to protect. And then all of a sudden you get the oceans that have sick animals, diseased animals, and the oceans aren't healthy anymore.
Right.
And the sharks are gone. For what purpose? Because what, you're gonna be better in bed if you have shark fin soup?
Yeah, right, exactly.
No, that's not going to
that's
happen.
nice, yeah.
You know, yeah.
That's a
Zoriana.
big seller.
Yeah.
Hey, Zoriana, give the website.
My friend Dr. Judy in New York would be all about it. Sex, now that I've got your attention. Yeah.
This guy's got a whole
Anyways,
list.
we're seashepherd.org, and you can support us by donating. You can support us by volunteering on our ships, or you can support us by going to the e-store and buying these wonderful water bottles, which you have. We have clothing, some of which I'm wearing today. So there's a lot you can
ways.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
That's great.
Last round, Edie, give your website. Why should people look you up?
Okay, it's ediehand.com, and then of course the edihandfoundation.org of what we do with St. Jude as well as with the children's hospitals in Alabama. Also, I'd love if you'd love to watch the documentary. It's on
Absolutely.
HNH, which is the letter NH, entertainment.biz. You could see the documentary.
And we're going to be putting that really on WBTVN because we have a give back, which is called Real REEL Women, and so that's what we do is take documentaries and get them out there.
Thank you.
I'm so excited about it.
I love that, and I'd love to invite all of you to come in the South in Nashville, Tennessee, with Music City. In March, the weekend of March 22nd, it'll be on my site. More information about women in film and television. It's womeninfiftnashville.org.
Swift.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
the Swift Convention. What this is, it'll be on my site where it'll be linked to them, but it is telling these stories, different ways to help women directors be more directors, producers, and the
Should
support
we wear
of
all
women.
black dresses?
We could.
Could I say
Oh,
that?
Good. Reese Witherspoon is
should,
from
you guys.
Nashville. You know,
That's right.
she is our Southern girl.
And Shay?
And so anyway,
sorry,
that,
good.
and I was just going to say that we'll have posted, but it will be great, and we will have on Sunday faith-based films, and that's where, with my Christmas ride, I'm hoping someone will do that particular film that we have that I think would be something of a women's series of rides of life that we talk about. But what's coming out is I Can Only Imagine, and the Irwin brothers are from Birmingham, Alabama. I knew these boys when they were kids, and it's going to be a big, big deal, and it comes out in March. So I'm proud to be a part of that, and we're going to do some things for that, and to promote women of true grit.
Absolutely.
And it takes guts and grits to do
Well,
it. So there you
all
go.
women have
And
good
Shay.
grit.
There you go.
Good grits. I mean,
That's
we
right.
all have to have that.
Some of them like cheese and some like,
Absolutely.
there we go.
So you can go to WBTVN.tv. That's the channel for the Women's Broadcast Television Network. And you can also go to shavon.com. And that's my website. And get in touch with me or ask any questions that you want, and we will reply back.
Chris,
That's awesome.
how can people reach out to you who don't know who you are? You have millions of fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hit me up on anything. I think
I'm there.
Now wait a minute. Here we
You can
go.
find him real
Yeah,
easy.
he-
Real easy.
Weekly Chris, what?
Right.
yeah, it's on YouTube.
We need you to
Instagram,
promote us,
Snapchat.
Chris.
They charge for that.
Yeah, I'm just YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Christian Collins.
Christian Collins or Christian
family.
Collins.
And support the brothers and sister in the family too. Very,
Yeah,
very
find
But
them.
important.
weekly
They're-
Chris
they're
isn't
awesome.
weekly Chris. He's like daily Chris, hourly Chris.
I don't know.
every
It's
second.
weird.
Moment
Sleep
we
much,
drink.
Chris.
It's a lie in the name.
Now Chris.
Yeah.
And Victoria.
VictoriaPlumber.net. Instagram, Victoria Renee Plumber. Pretty simple.
And what's that song again we had to promote?
A Better Tomorrow. It's
Exactly.
under-
Hey, they can do
under
an
Victoria
iTunes.
Renee.
They can do an iTunes download now for your phone. I want you to hear it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
beautiful song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody.
that.
I'm so honored that everybody came with everybody's wacky schedules. Edie coming from Alabama, Shay, your crazy schedule, Chris. I don't even think you know what a schedule is. And your
What's
mom,
that?
Victoria. I mean, when you're feeling well, so I'm,
Yeah.
and obviously Zoriana too, because she helps me out a great deal, especially with Sea Shepherd. Thank you all my sponsors. Thank you. We will see you next week. This is Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More. And if you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours because they need it.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to Movie Reviews and More with Brian Sebastian, only on LA Talk Radio.